So it's time to carry out our year-end in Sage 50. Start off by running any reports that you want prior to year-end. So typically people want to run off maybe age debtors reports, age creditors reports, maybe outstanding bank reconciliation reports. Of course, we'll run our, from our nominal codes, we'll run our profit and loss and balance sheet reports. Do double check that your balance sheet balances before we start, because that's a good position to be in. To actually do the rollover, you simply select Tools, Period End, and Year End. The system will then prompt you to carry out these tasks. We simply start at the top and work our way down. First thing to do, of course, is to check our data, which, being dutiful Sage 50 users, you do regularly. Here we have no errors, no warnings. Aha, we have some comments. So we check any issues, check what they are, and we resolve those issues. When they are resolved, we can carry on to the next step. So I'm going to go into my check chart of accounts, and it's telling me that all of my nominal codes are represented in my chart of accounts, which is exactly what we want to see. If any codes are missing or overlapping, we've got to sort that out before we continue. It's very important that we see this message exactly as presented on the screen. The next step will be to take a backup. So again, you'll have lots of daily backups. This is a special one, so we're going to give it a name, pre-year-end Sage Backup. You can choose whether you want to just back up the data or whether you want to back up everything. And we choose where the backup's going to go. Now, I'm not going to do the backup, but you would always press OK at this step. But I'm going to press cancel and just imagine that we have done the backup. The next step is archive location. Now there's often a concern here about are we clearing the audit trail or archiving? And just to be very clear, this is to create an archive of your pre-year-end backup. So I would always recommend leaving this ticked. You can check where it's going to put the backup, which is on the normally in the data path within the archives folder. Here, if your year is a calendar year, it's quite simple just to call it year end 2020. If your year end covers maybe April to March, sometimes people will put year 2020 to 2021. Whatever's a clear label for you is the correct thing to do. There's no right or wrong answer there. The next step are how we're going to deal with budgets. If you don't have any budgets, nothing to worry about, just leave it blank. If you do have budgets, we can choose to tick that box, and we can either carry across our actuals as our next year's budget, which I don't think anyone does, or we can take our existing budgets and bring them across, or we can, if we've got forecast budgets entered into the data, it will bring those across into the next year's current year budgets. So what's not uncommon is to take the current year budgets and then flex them by increasing them by a percentage. In truth, it's a little bit crude because it'll just increase everything by a percentage. So, but you've got control of what you want to do there. Below, we've got stock budgets, but as I say, we're not using budgets in this demo data, so I'm just going to leave that unticked actually. The year-end journal is the last day of the current year. Of course, Sage isn't a period-based accounting system, so your year-end journal is simply entered as the last transaction in the current year. Here we've got a tick box, which again I would recommend ticking, and that's going to allow me to control who can post prior to the new year. So I don't want any of our users entering in transactions for 2020 once I've run this year end. So I'm ticking that, and it's automatically putting in 1st of January 2021. If I know I've done all of my reports up to date, I might even change that to 1st of April, but again, you've got control over that. And we press run year end. It's prompting me again, do I want to continue? Yes. And it's now going to roll up all of my income and expenditure codes based on my chart of accounts layout. And if I preview this message, it's going to show me all of the journal debits and credits that have gone through my income and expenditure codes, and then the final, in this instance, a journal credit, where it's leaving the remaining balance against my reserves code based on my control accounts 3,200. So I can print or save that and close that screen. It's telling me that my new financial year is the 1st of January 2021, which is okay. And that's really as simple as it is to run a year end in Sage and create a rollover. Personally, I would take another backup and call it post year end, just so you've got a pre and post year end backup. And it's not a bad job to actually just recheck the data, make sure that there are no corruptions caused during the year end. And then you can continue using Sage as normal. If you have any issues or any problems, any data corruptions, don't hesitate to contact us.